Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 best weaponized aircraft in Grand Theft Auto Online. Obviously we've had some new aircraft come into the game, and we've had some old aircraft that have got buffs, and then we've also got some old aircraft that have had nerfs. I haven't made one of these videos in well over a year. I figured it was time. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off with number 10. At number 10, we have the P996 laser, the newly nerfed P996 laser. If you want to buy this thing, it's going to cost you $6.5 million. It's available on Warstock, or of course you can go to the military base and just steal it. Overall, I'd say the 996 laser isn't super worth purchasing because all you can do to it is just paint it now. And since it was nerfed, it's a little bit worse for wear. The laser's main nerf that it had was just the cannon getting nerfed. The cannon doesn't shoot as rapidly. The shots are a little bit more intermittent. And I also believe that the range has been reduced. I'm not 100% sure on that, but when I was flying it around and I was shooting the gun, it felt like the gun just did not have the same range that it once did. So unfortunately, the laser has been nerfed. With that being said, it is still a very good plane. Still a good one to have in GTA, and still a good one to steal from the military base as well. It does still have the homing missiles as well as the non-homing missiles, and it is still very maneuverable, and it is quite quick as well. Acceleration wise, it is actually better than some of the other planes in the game, but its top speed is a little bit lower than planes like, say, the Hydra, for example. Overall, the laser is still a good plane for dogfighting, and a good plane against NPCs and stuff like that. I just don't know if I necessarily recommend picking it up for $6.5 million post nerf, because that cannon nerf is pretty crucial to the laser's success throughout the years. And the cannon being a little bit worse for wear now, I'm not 100% sure. It's still good, it's still going to do enough damage, but between the damage nerf and the range nerf, I feel like the laser is a little bit worse than it otherwise would be. So for that reason, it is at number 10. Let's move on to number 9. At number 9, we have the B-11 Strike Force, coming in at $3,800,000. The B-11 Strike Force is a pretty good plane in GTA. It's actually the best armed plane in the entire game, as far as the different types of armament go. It has the main cannon, which it sounds really cool. It sounds just like the A10 Thunderbolt or the A10 Warthog in real life, which is pretty neat. But unfortunately, the cannon's fire rate doesn't actually match the fire rate of the gun's sound. So that is a little bit unfortunate. The gun also doesn't do very much damage. You have to hit a player twice with it to kill them. However, it will one-shot most vehicles as long as they're not armored. So that is pretty good. It also, of course, has bombs as well as homing missiles. And of course, it does have a 7-missile barrage, which is pretty cool as well. So that is pretty neat. There's not many planes in GTA that have a barrage, and actually, as a matter of fact, the Strike Force is the only plane in the entire game that actually has a barrage function, so that is pretty cool. B-11 is also really interesting because when you're low to the ground, this plane gets super slow, so you can line up your target really well. But then when you get up in the sky a little bit more further off the ground, it speeds up like crazy. It's actually really fast. The plane's also highly maneuverable and does have a good degree of armor, as you guys can see probably. You can run into stuff with the B-11 and it just kind of shrugs it off. You can actually almost just crash this thing directly into the ground at full speed and it'll survive. You know, it's got crazy good armor. It can take a few homing missiles, which will of course help in aerial combat against other planes and stuff like that. So B-11 Strike Force, very good plane for $3.8 million. Definitely look into it if you guys don't have one already. At number 8, we have the Hydra. The Hydra goes for $3 million all the way up to $3.99 million if you do not have the trade price unlocked. The trade price is unlocked by completing the original heists in GTA, specifically I believe Series A funding. The Hydra is the original VTOL jet in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it also shared the exact same cannon that the P996 laser once had. However, because of the nerf to the laser, the Hydra was also nerfed, meaning that the cannon is no longer as good as it used to be. However, I would say that the Hydra is still a better plane than the laser because it does have a higher top speed, and the VTOL mode is very useful for taking out targets that are in hard to reach places if you were in a plane that did not have any sort of VTOL mode. The Hydra is pretty quick, albeit the acceleration is a little bit on the slower side, but it is still a very good plane. Not nearly as maneuverable as the laser, so for dogfighting and stuff like that, you'll still want the laser. However, there are some even better planes for dogfighting coming up a little bit later on the list, so stay tuned for that. The Hydra also does have homing missiles and non-homing missiles as well. So it has pretty much everything that you're going to need. The only thing that the Hydra doesn't really have are bombs, or of course the barrage that we mentioned with the B11 Strike Force. Overall, still a very decent plane, still one that you should look into, and for 3 million bucks, you can't really go wrong with the Hydra. It is just super cheap for what you get. So that's good. That's it for number 8. Let's talk about number 7. At number 7, we have the Pyro. The Pyro goes for $3,350,000 if you have the trade price unlocked, or $4,455,500 if you do not have the trade price unlocked. The Pyro is regarded as the second best dogfighting aircraft in Grand Theft Auto Online. It has machine guns on it, and I believe you can also equip it with homing missiles, unless I am mistaken. The Pyro is highly maneuverable, and it is actually one of the highest top speed planes in the entire game, so that is pretty awesome as well. Overall, the Pyro is just a very good plane in GTA. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much because I'm just going to leave it to the guys in the comments down below. I'm sure you're going to find some Pyro guys in the comments down below, as well as LF22 Starling guys arguing amongst themselves about which of the two planes is better for dogfighting. So if you want to know more, I'm sure you can go and read their comments that are going to be on this video for sure. I'm personally not a huge fan of the Pyro or the Starling, so I don't know a whole lot about them, but I felt like I should highlight them in this video. So that's it for the Pyro. Let's move on to number 6. And at number 6, we have the Starling. The Starling goes for $2,750,000 if you have the trade price, all the way up to $3,657,500 if you do not have the trade price. The Starling is a rocket boosted plane in GTA, so it kind of operates very similarly to the Oppressor Mark I in all honesty, except it's a little bit better and it can stay in the air for, well, significantly longer, I would say. The Starling has some pretty good machine guns equipped on it. These actually do a decent amount of damage. It does also have homing missiles as well as non-homing missiles as well, so that is pretty good. Again, I'm not a really big fan of the LF22 Starling. I'm not an expert on it, so I'm not going to claim to be. But from what I hear, the Starling is the best dogfighting aircraft in Grand Theft Auto Online, largely due to its small turning circle, as well as the rocket boost, which can get you out of harm's way very quickly. Again, if you want to know more about the Starling, I'm sure there's going to be some people in the comments down below talking about it, so make sure you go and scroll down to the comments and see what people are saying. That's it for the Starling though. Let's talk about number 5. At number 5, we have the Pegasi Oppressor Mark II coming in at $8 million. The Oppressor Mark II has had a price increase since the last time I made one of these videos, and I believe that I didn't even include the Oppressor Mark II on the list last time because I was very salty at the Mark II, but since it's had a few nerfs, I decided I would include it on this list. And technically, I think it is a weaponized aircraft because it is a flying bike. I'm not sure if everybody's going to agree with that or not, but I consider it to be a weaponized aircraft. The missiles on this thing are still hyper aggressive with the tracking. They might not be the number 1 missiles anymore. They might be the 2nd or 3rd tier now. But trust me when I say it doesn't matter what they did to the Oppressor Mark II. Its missiles will still make a 90-degree corner, fly under a bridge, up through a small hole, and through the window of whatever car you are driving and hit your player directly. That's how accurate the Oppressor Mark II missiles are. That's what it feels like to get shot by one. It has 20 of these things, which is not a lot. In fact, most vehicles in the game that are armored can actually survive a full Oppressor Mark II barrage, and that's assuming that they hit all of their rockets, which a lot of them won't. But of course, we do have some good counters to it now with the Amani Tech missile lock-on jammer vehicles in the game, so that is pretty good. The Oppressor Mark II is handy to get around with. It does have a small rocket boost as well, and it can be equipped with chaff or flares, I do believe. I'm really not an expert on the Mark II either. I own this thing literally just for videos. Other than that, I don't use it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Oppressor Mark II at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have the Avenger. Now, the Avenger goes for $3,450,000, but since the new update came out, the Los Santos Mercenaries update, it has gained a lot of new functionality. If you pay just over $1 million, you will unlock the operations terminal within the Avenger, and beyond that, you can further upgrade your Avenger with machine guns as well as rocket pods, and you can equip it with an autopilot stealth, or you can equip it with a missile lock-on jammer when it's also in autopilot mode. Now, the Avenger retains its 3 really overpowered cannons that it always had, but it also gains some weaponry for the pilot, being the bombs that it already had, of course, but also machine guns and homing missiles, or non-homing missiles depending on what you select. The Avenger is pretty good now. It's actually a decently fast aircraft as well. It's got some good armor, and overall I do think that it is one of the best weaponized aircraft in all of Grand Theft Auto Online today. You can also equip it with a thruster so you can get in and out of it while it's in autopilot mode, which is a new functionality that it has, which is very good. Now, unfortunately, the thruster that you can put in it is not upgradable. It is simply just a thruster. It's not going to be your personal thruster from your facility or anything like that. It's just going to reside in your Avenger and allow you to get up to it and back down to the ground from it as well. Overall, the Avenger is definitely very good now. The upgrades that it has received in the last few days with this update have been very, very good. It's nice to see a revamp of the Avenger, and I think it definitely deserved it. That's it for the Avenger number 4. On to number 3. Of course, at number 3 we have the Akula. Now, the Akula has also had a price increase similar to the Oppressor Mark II. It goes for $3,704,000 and all the way up to $4,500,000 if you do not have the trade price. So it is a very expensive vehicle. Of course, you're going to need a hangar to store it as well. Same with the majority of vehicles on this list. The Akula is, of course, the first stealth helicopter that was added into Grand Theft Auto Online. It is a 4-seater. You can equip it with homing missiles or a 4-missile barrage, and you get access to machine guns as the pilot. Your co-pilot can have a single minigun turret, or you can upgrade it to a dual minigun turret if you so choose. But of course, the Akula's main feature and the best feature of it is, of course, the stealth mode. The stealth mode is very helpful. You can go in and out of stealth super fast. It's also got bombs that you can equip on it, which are another helpful feature to have with the Akula. You can simply get right above somebody in stealth mode, turn off stealth mode, drop bombs on them, or attack them with your barrage or homing missiles or the machine guns, and you'll absolutely destroy them. It's very useful to be able to get 4 players around the map in complete stealth and nobody has any idea that you are there. The Akula is one of the best helicopters in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. Definitely pick this one up. It is a must own as far as I'm concerned. At number 2, we have the FH1 Hunter coming in at $3,100,000 up to $4.1 million if you do not have the trade price unlocked for it. The FH1 Hunter is the best attack helicopter in Grand Theft Auto Online. Of course, to make it the best attack helicopter, you are going to need a co-pilot with you to operate the autocannon that is on the bottom of the FH1 Hunter. It absolutely destroys. It's a grenade launching autocannon and it will one-shot players. It will one-shot most vehicles unless they're heavily armored. The FH1 Hunter is phenomenal, and for the pilot, if you're a solo player or if you just like to fly, you will get access to the same 7-missile barrage that the B-11 Strike Force has, but on a helicopter instead this time, as well as homing missiles, which is pretty good. The FH1 Hunter is a phenomenal helicopter. It's also one of the fastest in the entire game. It looks amazing and it's got some nice customization options as well. Overall, the FH1 Hunter, definitely a vehicle that I would recommend looking into. But of course, the number 1 weaponized aircraft in Grand Theft Auto Online is the brand new F-160 Raju, coming in at $5,141,250 up to $6,855,000 if you do not have the trade price unlocked. The Raju is basically the Hydra and the Laser combined to be just an ultimate plane, except it's also got an element of the Akula as well, because it does have a stealth mode capability, which is by far the best feature of the Raju. However, the Raju also has a much faster acceleration rate than the Laser and the Hydra as well, making it a very fast and highly maneuverable plane. On top of this, it's also got VTOL mode, similar to the Hydra as well, which is pretty crazy, but the VTOL on the Raju is a lot more responsive initially than the Hydra is. You can go up and down super fast, side to side super fast. You can even tilt the nose down to get your cannons pointed at something without the plane moving very much, similar to how a helicopter operates in all honesty. It's got a dual explosive autocannon similar to the Hydra and the Laser, but it is a little bit worse and the range is not very long. It also has homing missiles and non-homing missiles, and a fun fact about the Raju is it can actually outrun its own missiles if you are flying towards the ground and shoot your missiles. So that's pretty crazy. This plane is insanely fast. I was finding it extremely hard to actually get the plane to stall as well, which I think is very interesting. You can gain some height with this thing insanely fast. Definitely a great vehicle to have in online right now. Very useful for grinding businesses and killing players alike, and pretty much every single thing in between. So there you have it, guys. That is it for the top 10 weaponized aircraft in Grand Theft Auto Online right now after the Los Santos Mercenaries DLC. Let me know your thought on my list in the comments down below. Are there any planes that I missed that you guys feel like I should have added or substituted? Do you agree with my order? Let me know, please. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.